Yo, what's going on, guys? Snoozeman back here with another YouTube video, and today we're actually going to be talking about how to place players on the injured reserve and take them off here in Madden 21 franchise mode. So we're going to get right into it here. I did just have a recent injury, and I tapped on it and I already acknowledged it, so now I'm going to have to go into my team and injury report. Now, I have two major injuries here. Eddie Goldman is out for a substantial amount of time, many weeks going into the second season. Now, for Roquan Smith, his length is only 4 weeks. He is out right here with a broken toe. Now, that is manageable. Manageable players we can stick on the IR, players that we know we can get back. So all we have to do to throw him and place him on the IR, all you have to do is go onto this list, and it's going to be down here, and it's going to say place player in IR, and it's going to say, are you sure you want to do that? And you're going to say yes. Now, what this allows you to do is essentially it brings you, it takes Roquan Smith off of the roster spot, and it's going to allow you to replace him without having any of the roster implications affect you. So now, Roquan Smith, you don't have to worry about him. You can get somebody else from free agency, and you can replace him, and you won't have to worry about anything going over the roster limit or anything like that. So that's how that's going to help you with this and placing a player on the injured reserve. So if you did not place a player on the injured reserve, you were just going to let him fill out his length like a Roquan Smith, then you would have the next man up mentality in your depth chart, and your backup middle linebacker after Roquan Smith would step in, and he isn't going to be a great decision to roll the dice on ahead of Roquan. We can just go ahead and get a free agency guy now to replace him for 8 weeks. Now you guys are saying 8 weeks. I thought it's only 4. Well, you can only do this once every season. You can only put a player on the injured reserve and place a player on the injured reserve once per season, and you cannot do this in the playoffs. You cannot remove a player from the playoffs off the IR or anything like that. It's got to be in the season, and it's 8 weeks because that is the amount of time that they have to stay on the injured reserve. Now, I know it's only a 4-week injury here with a broken toe, but that's how long Roquan Smith has to be on the IR now. But essentially, you're going to get a free agency guy to step in for 8 weeks and to replace that roster spot, and Roquan Smith's going to be here for 8 weeks, and at that point, he is going to be, if healthy, which obviously in 4 weeks he's going to be healthy, so essentially he's just going to be sitting out for about a month, and you're going to be he's going to be sitting out a month fully healthy, and then you're going to bring him back. So when you place a player on the IR, it has to be 8 weeks before you bring them back. You will not be able to bring them back and won't give you an option unless it's 8 weeks. So again, you can work around that, you can plan for that, but again, you can only place a player in the IR only once per season again. So we're going to be working around Roquan Smith here. So everybody else that does get injured here, we can't place on the IR. We can place them on the IR, but we can't bring them back, unfortunately. So it's really a waste of your time if you were to put them on the injured reserve because you can't bring them back. But we're going to be working with Roquan Smith here, and when 8 weeks go by, which will be week 12, we should be able to bring him back. So we'll sim to the mid-season point, and we'll sim a few weeks past that, and then we should be able to bring back Roquan Smith. Now, I'm not going to go into free agency and replace Roquan Smith for video purposes, and then I'm going to show you guys how we can take Roquan Smith off, because it's going to have a pop-up option when we tap on him 8 weeks past and prior to when we put him on the injured reserve. Again, I know a lot of people did not know this, but again, you can only place a person on the injured reserve once per season, and you can't do any of this type of stuff in the playoffs. You're just, if someone does get hurt, you're going to have to let them ride out their full length, or their length of their injury, and you can't replace that roster spot, unfortunately. but we are going to sim a few more weeks, and as you guys can see, we're in week 9, and we're going to go to the injury report and check on Roquan Smith, and looks like we got another guy. But Roquan Smith, as you guys can see, it says out 0 weeks, length 0, and it still says yes for the IR, as you guys can see. Now, if we were to go to overview, it has 0 options for me to actually bring this guy back. Even though he is completely healthy to be back, he still has a few more weeks to be on the IR, which if you guys were smart, you would have already had a player over him to fill the roster spot and to fill in his play. But we're going to sim a few more weeks here, and we're going to easily bring him back. Now, I know a lot of people don't really use injuries in a certain way and have him and use this injury reserve slot. I know I feel like it should be used more. I know people should use it more. I feel like it brings a lot of realistic implications into the game if you're a realistic kind of guy in a franchise mode, and I like to do that with a lot of my franchises. But we're going to go ahead and sim a couple more weeks here, and we're going to go ahead and bring him back. I'm pretty sure it's week 12. We might not be able to bring him back. We might have to sim one more week. But again, Roquan Smith, I don't think we can, not yet. It should be able to do one more week, and we should be able to have Roquan Smith back, because that should be the week 8 point, unless we have to sim week 12 as well. But we should be able to get Roquan Smith back right here. Roquan Smith, and it does say yes for return. So as you guys can see, it has been 8 weeks. We started this in week 4. Here it is in week 12, and we get our boy Roquan Smith back. So this option cannot pop up again until it's past 8 weeks, even though it was only I believe a 4-week injury. I could be wrong from the time or at the beginning of the video, but here he is. Now we have to remove player from IR, and he was successfully removed from the injured reserve. Now we can't do this to the other guys. We can stick him on IR, but we can't do that again. We can't stick him on IR because of how long and lengthy his time is, because he had a complete PCL tear. But you can do this. You can do this for a couple players to store players in the IR, but you won't be. It won't work at all. And you're not essentially helping yourself out. You can only do this for one player again, and we're gonna go in and adjust lineup, and we'll go to defense here, and you'd have to go into your depth chart and move Roquan Smith back in, and that's how that would work. But he is completely healthy and ready to go, and that is how to store players on the IR and take them off here in Madden 21 franchise mode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We are trying to hit 180 subs. We're only 1 away. But again, that will be it for today's video, guys. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next one.